The Hopi Indians have legends of UFOs, their flying shields, extraterrestrial space aliens visiting them, visiting their lands in Arizona, in the United States. The name of the Hopis Hopi is short for Hopi Tu Shi Nu Mu, meaning peaceful people. The history of the ancient Hopi, the indigenous tribes of America, goes back thousands of years, and that means that it makes them one of the oldest cultures in the world. Unlike other mythologies of other cultures which speak of gods that came from the heavens, in the ancient legends of the Hopi, there's a different story that they tell. They talk of mighty gods who lived in the center of the earth, that is, what we would say underground or even hollow earth. But who were these people? In a similar way, nearly all pre-Columbian cultures, just like the Hopi, believed that gods who have shaped human culture will come back to earth, and they've always lived according to the teachings that were given to them by the Masao Wu, that is the master of the fourth world, where their ethical codes are rooted in their culture. But they're different to many other mythologies that are widespread in the globe. The Hopi believe that their gods do not live in the infinite spaces of the cosmos, but live in the heart of the earth, and conveying idea of a hollow earth existing under our feet. The Hopi also speak of these flying shields that flew over the sky. They were run by deities and attacked cities in ancient times. The legends of the Hopi flying shields, narrated since the ancient times of America, in their legends, in the remote past they observed strange futuristic technologies with a type of circular craft, as we talked of. For example, you'll see in the video before this one, the circular craft viewed and depicted in the legends and hieroglyphs of China. Circular crafts, flying shields again, and in India as well. So these were the flying shields, futuristic technology, types of circular craft moving through the skies, driven by beings that they called Kachina. These were the Kachina beings. And the Hopi, as we know, are Native American tribes descending from the old town that lived in the southwest United States. Their history is very old, it's over 3,000 years old. So according to their mythology, at the beginning of time, the Creator created the Sotuknang, his nephew, giving him the task of creating 9 universes or worlds. One for Tawa, one for him, and other 7 of the overabundance of life. And there's a cyclical conception of time. Just like the Aztec mythology, these worlds would continue cyclically. And their legend tells a story that the first 3 worlds, Tokpela, Tokpa, and Kuzurza, have already been inhabited and then destroyed due to corruption and the wickedness of men. It basically goes almost like the deluge and great flood stories. Now the Hopi speak at the end of each cycle, this marked by the return of the gods, and they announce the appearance of the blue Kachina star as a sign of the day of purification, when the old world is destroyed and a new one begins. And each time the world is destroyed, the Hopi, the faithful, are saved, taken by the gods to their underground cities to escape destruction of the planet. And these are cyclical destructions, always according to the mythology of the Hopi. The ant people are crucial for human survival. And these ant people, from what you'll see in the previous videos, are basically extraterrestrials. And we have various cultures worldwide that have underground dwellings. In Derinkuyu in Turkey, you have cities that are built underground, enough to house tens of thousands of people. Now, the so-called First World, the Tokpela of the Hopi, was supposedly destroyed by a fire of global proportions, a worldwide cataclysm of fire, perhaps volcanism, or an asteroid impact, or even a coronal mass ejection from the sun. And then the second world, the Topka, was destroyed by cold. Maybe a pole shift causing massive ice ages, destroying life on the world. So it's interesting to know that these two cataclysms, according to the members of the tribe of the Hopi, were guided during the day by a cloud of strange shape and a moving star overnight, leading to the presence of the ant people, which the Hopi called Anu Shinam. Anu Shinam. Interesting, the ancient Sumerian language Anum or Anu was the god of the gods, and he's the creator of creation, and the Anunnaki. Very strange that they have very similar compound words here. Now, well, we also know that according to some Indian chiefs, American Indian indigenous tribes of America, their writing was Chaldean. And they said that their ancients knew how to read the Chaldean language because that was the writing of their ancestors. So Chaldeans, as we know, are from the area of the Mesopotamia, the Middle East. And it's very strange that they could read Chaldean, which was the ancient writing of the Sumerians. So that means that they had some kind of a connection. Now, in the Hopi legend, the mysterious creatures, these ant people, which were supposedly the Anu Shinam, the Anu Shinam, were extraterrestrials. And they landed with aircraft. And they even told the indigenous people that before they went to visit them, they had to clean their houses, make sure that they were clean before they would enter. Perhaps were afraid of contacting some kind of an infection. I have no idea. But in the previous videos, you'll see that. Now, the Hopi legend, in this legend, the mysterious creatures that are humanoid are described as very generous and hardworking, willing to provide food for the indigenous and the Hopi, and to teach them food preservation so that they could survive. And they also gave them a code of laws, how to live by. And like other cultures around the world, the ancient Hopi believed in the existence of underground caverns and chambers and cities. And they had theories of a hollow earth. The ancient Hopi also talked of mysterious ant-men gods, the extraterrestrials, the humanoids with light skin, who helped the ancient Hopi progress through time. But the ancient Hopi also speak of the Patuvotas, or the ancient flying shields. Now, the advent of the sixth world, according to Frank Waters, the author of Mystic Mexico, the sixth world of consciousness, 1975, it's the third world where the ancient Hopi introduced the concept of the flying shields, these flying saucers. The flying shields, sort of a vehicle that can travel very quickly to different places in the world and even devastate entire cities on Earth. I mean, that's the kind of technology that they had. The third world was destroyed by the Sotuknang, the nephew of the Creator, with a very great flood. So we're talking about biblical tradition of the story of the flood of Noah's Ark. Something very similar here. And also the underground cities. We have to remember that in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth talks about underground cities. palaces, luxurious cities, thousands of rooms under the pyramid complexes. He didn't talk about Giza or Saqqara, but he just generally talked about luxurious underground palaces under the pyramids. And it's very strange that we have this type of a description here of the underground cities by these gods that had the flying discs. Now it seems evident that these flying shields or discs or flying saucers, they were ships without wings, and are sometimes, we find them in ancient cultures worldwide. Ancient Hopi used the term to refer to them, that something that was capable of flying through the skies and even transporting people. They describe their deities as intraterrestrials, okay, that they were from the inside of the earth, which ascends from within the earth, and they called them the ant people. And their imagery reminds a lot of gray aliens of today. Now, this is their legends, and they talk about series of time cycles in the world, and the third cycle with the presence of the Patuvotas, the flying shields, and they were very advanced, what appears to be futuristic technology, ancient astronauts armed with armament that floated in the sky, capable of annihilating cities from long distances, moving in a very, very fast way. So those who handled these shields were called the Kachina. They were mediators between gods and humans. And their flying objects also emitted very, very thunderous sounds, noises that like of the wind passing through a narrow place. Now, the artifacts describe these flying saucers as what we would call UFOs today, or stealth craft. And now the flood and destruction of the Third World, a period of prosperity, advanced technology, ancient technology, came to an end from a deluge generated by the gods. Now, this looks very much like what we know about the deluge over the continent of Atlantis and the Atlanteans. Their advanced technology, their weapons, and their from what Thoth tells us and what from Manly P. Hall tells us, they were so haughty, so selfish, that they were really a detriment to humankind. And it was a benefit to humanity that they're no longer among us. Now, Thoth explains that some of them did escape and go to other countries and became the deities of those other locations of the world, setting up new cities with their technologies, etc. And that Thoth himself, the Atlantean who wrote the Emerald Tablets, became one of the initial first deities of ancient Egypt. And he even tells us that he buried his spaceship underneath the Sphinx on a plateau of pyramids. Now, even Egypt, they say Giza Plateau has an underground city of many levels of very luxurious ancient palaces. Now, according to Native American Wisdom series, the Hopi following the path of peace, the god Sotuknang told the beginning of the Fourth World, "Look, I have raised even the terraces of its emergence, the steps I left for you. At the bottom of the seas are all the proud cities, the flying shields and the worldly treasures corrupted by evil, and those who found no time to sing the praises of the Creator from the top of their hills. But the day will come, if you keep the memory and the meaning of your emergence, when these steps will emerge again to prove the truth that you expose." So they were done. They were flushed away by a flood. That's the same thing what happened to Atlantis. It sunk. From what the ancient Greek texts tell us, even Rhodes sunk, but Rhodes came back up again, whereas Atlantis stayed submerged. So it's similar to these stories here. Now, Tiwahongva and his sister had been abandoned, and while camping they heard a roar, and it was Sotuknang who descended from the sky aboard his flying shield. This is how the legend goes. God wore a suit that shone like ice and had a twinkling face. It sounds like he had some kind of a reflective astronaut suit. The brothers ascended the shield with the god, flying high above the heights, and Sotuknang finally left them in the village where their parents had settled after the flood. And the legend of the Hopis amazes by appearance of deities or ancient astronauts who use futuristic technology. And even today, the Kachinas still travel the earth in their flying shields, according to their legends. In other words, they're still around. This is, I'll leave a link below for you. This is on Soul Ask. And of course, what we've already talked about in from other articles. It seems that everything sort of corroborates and sort of leads back in time to what the Emerald Tablets say, written by Thoth the Atlantean or Hermes Trismegistus, you know. And these people used to live for thousands of years as well, according to the Sumerian tablets. Okay, so this is very interesting. This has to do with our archaeology, and as Manly P. Hall says, he believes that a lot of these flying saucers that we see and these entities flying them could very well be the remnants of Atlanteans still among us today. Anyway, tell me what you think. This is very, very astonishing. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.